It started about 2 months ago. And initially we thought maybe there was some hitch somewhere that is delaying it. Personally with me, I was supposed to send some $10,000 to my partners in Japan. I put the money with my bankers. First week, no show. Second week, no show. I said, what is going on? Then I went to the manager. I said, the BOG is saying there's no dollar. I said, how? Now they say there's enough dollar in the system. The dollar has come down. The city is gaining strength. And what is happening that we don't have the dollar? Much as he explained to me, there wasn't a clear understanding of what is going on. So I took it, saying, okay, maybe there's a hitch somewhere. Let's wait.
How long ago was this? 2 months ago? Or
that was 2 months ago.
Almost 2 months scenario, ago. Almost 2 months ago. Okay.
So it went on until the third week. Then he told me, you see how the thing is now. Unless maybe we divide it into two, we send the first tranche, and then later we send the second tranche. I said, I don't care. Whatever means that you use to send the money to my people, that's what I'm looking for. So he was able to send the first 5,000, and then later he was able to send that. Then it took about a month before that 10,000 was able to go through. Then after that, it was off my mind, and I wasn't tracking the situation until then later. The calls started coming in from my people. They call you up, Tony, what is going on? What are you people doing? How is it now? You are not talking. What is going on? I say, we can't do transfers. So I started calling my bosses at Accra. Then we had the first meeting with the governor. There was a promise that they are going to do something about it, and there wasn't anything happened until last Friday that we met him again, and then he gave us the full assurance that they are going to rectify the situation coming this week. So yesterday I went to the bank and asked my manager what is going on. He said they've got the assurance notice anyway, but nothing has changed. So
tell me, when you met with the governor, what explanation or reasons did he give as to why you are not able to have the dollars to do your business with?
The governor told us there's enough dollar in the system.
He said the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So how come?
How come they are not giving us the dollar? He didn't explain this to us.
Did you ask him why?
Yeah, we asked them why, and they say that they are on it. They are, the usual Ghanaian. They will confuse you with their big English. Oh, we are on it. We plans are far advanced. We are. Then it ended up there. So the assurance is that they are doing everything possible to rectify the situation. So whatever is in the pipeline, maybe they will take it off this weekend. From next week, we will see some outflows. But personally, I think it's a deliberate policy by the BOG just to make sure the dollar stabilizes, because the March outflows will lead to increase in the dollar prices, and then it will go back to where we were before we came to where we are now. So that's how I see it.
Under the circumstances, they have given some reasons, and they have said that some of the business people or individuals who are seeking to have the dollars, some of them don't have the right documentation. That's
an excuse that they are making. I say it's an excuse because, okay, how about those people who have their documents? And the documents, let me explain the document. If you clear the goods at the port, there's a value that you give to a 40-footer container or 20-footer container that you cleared. So you say the whole container was 20-footer, $20,000. So you're supposed to show your bankers that I cleared the goods worth 20,000. But because of the duty payment, sometimes there are some manipulations at the post by our agents and the authorities, so that a 40-footer container that is costing $20, that they will make a value of say 10,000. So the document that you take to them won't amount to the 20,000 that they are looking for. In such situations, they won't allow you to do the next transfer. But people are able to manage to send the documents much as they need the dollar. So those people who are applying for the dollar now, they make sure they have, because if you don't have the right document, the
so what you're saying is that there are people who still have the right documentation, but are not having access to the dollars to do their business with.
Yes.
How are you coping under the circumstances? Where are you getting the dollars from?
You see, they don't want us to go to the black market. But in a situation like this, Dave, there's a friend of mine who has ordered a container from China. The container is at the port now. He's supposed to pay a balance of $15,000 to his business partner before they release the bill of lading to him. And in such a situation, he has waited for 2 weeks. The 2 weeks, he's paying demurrages. So what he did is, he was able to see some Abuchi people they collected the money from him. He gave the address of the company, trading partners in China to them, and then quickly, in a matter of 1 hour, the money was in their accounts, and they are now
within 1 hour.
Within an hour.
At what rate?
12.1.
12.1.
Yeah.
And how long ago was this one? Last week?
Just last week.
Professor Aziz is with us in the Studios of Love 99.5. Prof, good morning to you, and thanks very much, for your
morning,
time.
David.
I can see a smile on your face listening to Tony Opong, the original chairman for Guta. I don't know what the smile on your face is all about, relating to what you're hearing him say. But what is your view on the issue of the unavailability of forex, especially the dollars, as raised by traders and business owners, and the response by the Bank of Ghana saying that we have adequate dollars in the system to meet demand, and yet they are complaining? What is your reading of all this?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished listeners. David, I was smiling because what he's saying is what sometimes some businesses go through, but what the Bank of Ghana also said is actually what some businesses also do, and so you have to look at both sides, because I've worked in the banking sector, and I've seen it that many companies will come, they don't have the right documentation. That is very true. It is also the case that it is not all the banks that might have the dollar that you need at any particular point in time, because the banks also buy and sell. At any particular point in time, your bank might not have the required amount of dollars, but it doesn't mean the banking sector doesn't have the dollars. It is just because maybe your bank doesn't have it at that moment. They may have to get it for you. They may have to get it at a certain rate that you might not also like, because they need to source it at that short notice.
From a different bank.
So there are a lot of dynamics, David, and so we need to look at it holistically, because you see, a friend was telling me that it is also part of Ghanaian attitude. When we have the dollars, for example, we don't want to go to the bank and sell it to them. You want to go to Abochi and sell it. But when you want the dollars, you go to Abochi, you want the banks to make it available. and it's a typical Ghanaian attitude. And of course, you want higher rate when you want to sell, but when you want to buy, you, of course, naturally you want to go to the banking sector. Another thing is that, David, you see, the traders, I can empathize with them, but in many cases, I think we need to do some education. When you need to make some transfers, Bank of Ghana is saying that sometimes give your bank at least like a week notice. They can have like what you call like a forward rate for you. But most of them will just come, I need it now. And so mobile, our currency is not dollars. Our currency is Cedi. Your bank might not have it now, but if you had given them the notice, they would have made the necessary arrangement for you. But you can't just walk in looking for, let's say, $200, $300, $1 million, and you think that because it's a bank, it must be available. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but I can understand
But again, Tony Opong, gave a personal experience where he went to his bankers, and then they engaged. They had promised to sort him out within 2 weeks.
Okay.
It was not done.
Yeah.
And then even after the 2 weeks, when they were going to sort him out, they said they were going to do half of the amount. In fact, he wanted $10,000. After 3 weeks, they said they would just $10,000. Yes.
$10,000.
So don't speak on that tone, Prof. Speak loudly. Just $10,000. Yes. But even when it came to
I'll come to that.
If I may, even the $10,000 that he was looking forward to getting, they halved it after 3 weeks and gave him only $5,000.
Wow.
This is a businessman who has payments to make to his counterparts in Japan.
Yeah.
He gave 3 weeks. 2 weeks notification, 3 weeks, and even could not get the 10,000. And this is not an individual, case. It's not an isolated case. It's a general case.
A general case. Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, why everybody is complaining, because it's throughout the whole country. It's not only in Kumasi here. Yeah. Everybody from Accra right down to Paga to every corner.
So could it be so do you buy all the explanation that is being given in relation to the fact that it has to do with documentation?
You see, David, let me answer the first part, and then I'll come to the second one.
Okay.
You see, when you go to your bank, like I said, and they don't have it, and that would be an advice I'll give to the banks and the customers as well. You see, when you go to your bank, like I said earlier, and they don't have it, it doesn't mean the whole banking sector doesn't have it. And my advice to the bank is that you might lose that customer. Because if you walk to the next bank, you might have it. I have a different experience. I travel a lot, and so when I go to my bank, and then I ask them, I give my visa and everything, and then they produce the dollars for me.
Maybe it's not in a large quantity.
Yeah, the quantity that
are seeking.
I know the quantity that you just mentioned. That 10,000.
Okay.
Maybe below 10,000, you can't. I mean, I walk to my bank, EcoBank, that's why I bank, and you give them the requirements that they ask you, and then they ask you, wait, we are talking to the Treasury Department in Accra, and they get the dollars for you, because once you have the right documentation, and so I'm coming. So you realize that if your bank is not getting it for you, I'll keep, because there's no way in a country like Ghana, dollars will not be available at all banks. That is the point we must establish. Because you see, David, we keep saying that the exchange rate is demand and supply, isn't it? Now, I will tell you something. Banks get their dollars from their customers, mostly. And the more of the customers you have who do exports, the more dollars you have more than the other bank. If you have a lot of the NGOs who get donor funding more than another bank, you get more dollars than, or more foreign currency than that bank. If you have international money transfer operators in your books as a bank, you get more dollars than the other counterparts. I hope you get what I'm saying. So the dynamics. So I mean, are some of these things. If you don't have them on your books as a bank, you'll be disappointing your customers. And the message you send across is that the banking sector, there are no dollars, there are no pounds or euros and all of that. You as a bank, in order to keep your customers, you need to work at getting some of these clients on your books. Remember that the mining companies used to exploit the banks, but they used to sell at a very high rate. And Bank of Ghana came in and told them, no, I will buy from you and then sell to the market. So I hope you get the point. So let's make the point. And back to the second part. The second part is the documentation. It cannot be entirely documentation, but I can also tell you that in most cases it's a documentation.
All right.
But it can't be the only reason.
Entire thing.
Bank of Ghana has not told you and I, but he said that he thinks that it is actually to keep the
cedi strong against the dollar.
But that will not work. You know why?
Tell me why.
Because you see, if you are suppressing the demand, they'll go to Abochi, isn't it?
Exactly.
You have a power rate, isn't it, where you are quoting is not realistic compared to what you have. And so Bank of Ghana will not even start doing that. They might have their reasons. It's not necessarily because they want to suppress the depreciation of the cedi, because they are rather causing more depreciation.
So let me ask
because
this
when
question.
you suppress it, people will go and look for alternative, and the alternative is expensive, and that will feed into the market. I'll get upon
So Tony, hold on for me. I have two quick questions.
Yeah.
How come the banks do not have it readily? And like you said in your initial submission, the businessman should tell the bank ahead of time, let's say 1 week ahead of time.
No, for large transfers, but more than $100,000.
But in that same instance, the bank is not able to raise it within a week or even two. But when you go to the Abochi, he's able to do it within 1 hour. You heard him say it.
David, I think that the mechanics are very simple, like I told you. If you go to the bank and you need more than $100,000, they'll ask you to give them like a week. Now come in. It's similar, just like if you're going for withdrawal from your bank, and beyond a certain amount, they'll tell you should have given us some notice. You can't just come and withdraw because the bank has a liquidity to manage, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so some of these mechanisms must be understood by customers. Yes, it's your money, but we have certain kind of historical flows that we used to manage liquidity at the branch level. You can't just walk in and say, because it's your money, you want 2 million Ghana cedis over the counter. We need to prepare for you, isn't it? It's something you come and then you want to pick, let's say, some amount of dollars. I need to prepare. But if you go to Abochi, the reason why Abochi will get it for you, like I told you, a typical Ghanaian for the smaller ones would want to go and sell to Abochi and not to the bank. So Abochi will have the physical cash available. Remember, the bank gets credited with $1, but doesn't mean the physical dollar has moved from overseas to Ghana. We must understand those dynamics.
How do you explain concerns of allegations where some people are of the view that some of the banks themselves give out the dollars to the Abochi person to trade with, because the Abochi sells it at a higher rate. So when the banks give it to the Abochi person trades with the dollars and then pays money to the banks with some interest, and the bank managers make money.
David, I've heard those allegations. Even when I was in the bank, I've heard them, but I don't have evidence. And so I can't really speak to it, David. I can't say that Abochi get their money from the same banks. I can't say so. It might be the case, but once there's no evidence, we probably can be a conjecture. I don't know if you remain an allegation. Yeah. So it's not something that but then if it is something that people are talking about, then the regulator should be interested, isn't it?
But again,
in order to crack down on.
But you agree with me? Tony, 1 second. You agree with me that the operations of these Abochi people are illegal?
Yes.
Very illegal.
Yes.
And yet they're flying their trade.
Yes.
How does that affect our economy? And how should we deal with their operations?
David, you see, Abochi people would be there in most countries. It's not only in Ghana, David. I remember I won't mention the country. I went to the country and then some Ghanaian friends said, no, master, don't go to the Forex Bureau. There are some guys who can change the money for you at a better underground economy is everywhere, isn't it? Now, if you tell me that, of course, Abochi will get the dollar, and so we should all be rushing to Abochi, I don't think we will help the economy. The thing is, the Bank of Ghana can bring out regulations, but they will need a law enforcement bodies to help them crack down on the things that they do. You see them in open market doing it. They don't hide it, David. Many of them are just extensions of the Forex bureaus, David. You must know that. Many of the Abochi people hide behind the Forex bureaus. And I think the regulator must be interested in cracking down some of the activities. But see, the more you crack down, if Ghanaians don't help you, their business will flourish. Because he's sitting here, he knows that some of their colleagues, of course, have the right document, but many of them don't have. Yeah. And many of them would let Abochi flourish. They will follow Abochi to his bedroom, isn't it? Even if you catch them outside, they know what Abochi is. So it is about attitude. Yeah, you need the police to crack down on them. You need, the regulator to crack down. But when you crack down and your own people are not willing to change their attitude, David, it's like those days when you said, on the socialist system where people will still find way to do black market, isn't it? They'll go to their rooms. We need attitude to not change, David. And then the businesses and individual Ghanaians will help us. Because, like I said, my friend just said they will go and sell their dollars, pounds, euros to Abochi. They will sell it to the bank. But when they want to do transfer, they want the bank to produce.
What I want to talk about is, it's not that we're looking for the dollar in cash.
They should pay to your
partners. You just send them the CDs and then they transfer the money in dollars to your partners outside.
Not to cut you, but I understand that part.
Yeah.
When it comes to
the BOG law, we are not supposed to handle more than 10,000 when you are traveling outside. So we don't need that much.
So just do a transfer for me.
Just do the transfer for me.
Even that is a challenge.
That is where the challenge is now.
When it comes to that, that is where the documentation issue comes.
Yeah.
For some of them, they have. Just that, like I said, at that point, his bank or her bank doesn't have the dollars, and they are not being truthful to the customer.
But in this situation, it's the BOG who is saying there's no dollar in the system.
No, BOG has not said so.
BOG has adequate dollars in the system for 4 to 5 months.
Yes, BOG has
given that assurance.
No,
the transfers are not going through.
I'm having BOG has not said so. What I've heard them say is that there is enough dollars. But I'm coming. When it comes to the transfers, like I told you, banks don't have the fiscal. When they get the creditor with the dollar, it doesn't mean the fiscal dollar has moved. So when you come to transfer, it's even easy for them to provide the document. David, I'll give you an experience. When I was working for Cal Bank those days, there's a customer that came. It's a big company, I won't mention because of confidentiality. This customer wanted to transfer a huge amount of dollars. And he brought his document, they were not complete. And he felt like I should have transferred because he was going to lose that business. I said, I can't also let Car Bank lose their license, isn't it? When you have not brought the right documentation. It's a big company. But the way somewhere that Car Bank didn't have the dollars, for example. But they did have the dollars. But I didn't give the approval because I was a relationship manager for that company. I didn't give the approval because the documentations were not intact. And we managed him. The way we managed him was that, okay, so I informed my boss that this is the situation, but this is a big customer. And so the man came ranting late in the evening, around 8 p.m., because he called his partners abroad and they told him they had not received the money. And when he called me, I told him, yes, the documents are not complete. And it's not complete. He said, no, I should have transferred because he was going to bring the documents the next morning. I said, no, if I don't see the document, I'm not transferring. So how we managed it was that my MD came in and I said, no, Abdul-Aziz didn't do it. Like, just to manage and he felt so good. No, we are doing it for you. But no bank has closed now. Tomorrow morning, when you get the document, So you see, once you say you're bringing tomorrow morning, then bring it tomorrow morning, then we do it for you.
In this conversation.
But I'm coming. For most of them, it's not about the transfer. He will agree with me that for most of them, they want the cash. For the big ones who have the name amongst them, they will do the good business.
What we're talking now is not about wanting the cash.
No, I'm coming.
It's about the transfers that you are talking about.
And I'm saying that some of you have the documents for transfer and your banks are not getting it for you. It doesn't mean all banks don't have the dollars. I've made that point over and over again.
Yeah.
Second part is that apart from some of your colleagues wanting transfer, many of your colleagues also want the physical dollars.
So what does this mean to our economy?
It's bad for our economy.
So it's bad for our economy. I'm happy that you say that.
Yes.
Let me finish the question.
Yes.
Let me finish the question because here we are where we hear that the city is doing very well against the dollar, and we're all excited about it, and so we want to enjoy the fruits of it, the benefits of it. Here they are as business people. They're not getting the transactions done for them. So they fall on the black market. That is at a higher cost.
Even the black market, there's a limit, David. They can't fall on black market beyond certain limit. He knows. For some amount, black market cannot help them. He knows.
But
that much.
But again, he mentioned a businessman who wanted to do some transaction or transfer. His banks could not do it for him. He fell on somebody on the black market. The person did it for him. All I want to know is this: how is this affecting our economy? How do we fix it? If you're saying it's bad, how bad can it be?
David, you see, the moment you do backdoor, I say backdoor because for many of them, I'll come to your part, don't worry. For many of them, if they keep going to Abochi, is that okay? If they keep going to Abochi, because some of them, they don't have documents, and they want physical dollars, because for some transactions within the economy, some of them want dollars to go and pay. If they keep doing that, what they are doing is that they are pushing the Cedi down. The Cedi will depreciate further. We import most of the things that we consume. So prices generally are likely to begin going up, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then your debt as an economy will also swell because a component of it is in foreign currency. Do you get it? So, I mean, the effects, the negative effects, there are so many.
Plus,
now,
plus what he talks about.
No, I'll come to what he said.
No, earlier on, he mentioned the challenges they have as businessmen when it comes to paying demurrages, the bill of lading, all those things are also swelling up.
I'll come to that. Now, if the banks, like the remember I said, I was advising the banks, get the dollars for your customers, otherwise you lose them. If you also keep telling them there's no dollars, you are showing them the way to Abochi. And if you show them the way to Abochi, you are destroying the economy. And I would advise the businesses, if your bank is not able to get for you, get to another bank. I know it's difficult. You can't just move one day and establish a relationship with another bank.
Yeah.
I know it's not easy. But what I'm saying is that make conscious effort to diversify your account. Don't have accounts with just one bank.
Yeah.
Diversify your portfolio, David. Have accounts with different banks, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then once you have a relationship with the bank, remember, exactly, you explore the banks and one of them will get it for you. David, let me mention this.
Get you clearly in all the explanation you are trying to give.
Yes.
We understand the purpose.
But
that's the situation.
But
you see, it's about the length of time that this thing has gone on. It's almost 2 months now.
Oh, but
all the transfers. In my case, the transfer went through about a month ago.
Okay.
So I thought it has ended there.
And now you want to do another one.
A whole lot of calls coming on me.
That's not good.
Last week. Then I called the national president. The national president went to the BOG.
Yeah.
They had a meeting with the BOG governor. And then he came out with that notice that there's enough dollars in the system and they are going to make sure all the transfers go through.
But again, in an economy.
And we went to the bank
I agree,
but Prof, you know what my concern really is? We practice a very fragile economic situation. That some shocks can easily derail gains.
Yes.
Here we are, where everybody's excited that the city is doing well against the dollar now. But as businessmen, they're into business for profits.
Yeah.
So when they have such challenges, what it means therefore is that they cannot reduce their prices. For an ordinary consumer like myself to enjoy, I'm happy he's nodding, to enjoy, which will mean therefore that we're still running in circles and not fixing or solving the problem. That's where my challenge is.
David, I agree with you. It's a big challenge. And as I said that if the banks are not getting it, It's unfortunate.
So for me, how do we fix it? What should be the way forward? How do we solve it?
No, you see, the way forward is about getting the inflows, isn't it? Once they get the inflows, and like I said, the banks should have those customers on their books. You don't get dollar, is that okay, out of the blues. You get it from the clients that export. And we are doing very well with the gold export, isn't it? So I expect that we should have
the same
some
all of us are confused that
dollars
they are telling us there's no
system.
dollars in the state.
And so I find it difficult to understand how the dollar is not available from the Bank of Ghana's perspective. Because you see, you have decided that for the large exporters, mining companies, you buy the dollars from them. For the smaller ones, the gold board will mop it up, sell it, and then you would have it.
Yeah.
So I don't expect us to be in shortage. But if you keep doing that, you are killing the business.
It's too much.
And then what you are going to do is that in no time your city will begin to, because they will look for alternatives.
Definitely.
The alternatives are expensive, and that will feed into the
He
market.
says it's 2 months, 2 months and counting. Is it too long a time for this to suffice?
That's too long.
Just too a longer time.
That's too long.
That's why we are
David,
complaining.
that's too long.
Look, now, you know the number of containers locked up at Tomantakwadi Post?
No.
Because we are owning our partners.
No.
And until the Asian man gets his money, he will never release the bill of lading to you.
Yeah.
And as long as the container is at port, you are paying the mortgages to the shipping lines.
Yeah.
So that's the situation we find ourselves now.
But
those goods we are ordering from our partners, fresh goods that we are ordering from our partners, until you give them the deposit, they won't start any loading.
Yeah.
So all those things are also stuck over there.
Yeah, they've locked your capital.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
So no, what the fear is, if it continues for a longer time, there's going to be shortage of goods in the system because
They're all
while these
they're
goods
all
are
at the
cleared,
ports.
Yeah.
then the ones that we're supposed to order to come in no show because of the transfers that are not going through.
That's true.
So it's a big problem. That's the more reason why we are so much.
No, but David, I think in such instances the BOG should intervene. But I don't think
Intervene and do what?
I mean, provide the dollar to the company, because you see, when companies want certain amount, like I told you earlier, they have to apply to BOG through their banks, and BOG is ready to provide, provided they know that you are going to clear your goods so and so much. So BOG can intervene because they can provide the money when you apply. Because if your bank doesn't have it, what they have said is that apply through your bank to BOG, and BOG provide the dollar.
Do you have a feeling that the BOG is telling us the whole truth? Because like he
No,
said,
I don't believe they are telling
he
me.
said they met with the governor. They had series of conversations. He asked the governor, if you say that we have 4 to 5 months forest reserves, how come we're finding ourselves in this challenge? He said they didn't get an answer. So back to my question. Do you believe that the BOG is telling us the whole truth?
This is what I will say. I don't have the entire information.
Yeah, Prof. That was the more reason that I put mine thinking that the BOG is suppressing the distance.
When BOG does it that way, it's not the wrong way to do it. And I've told you. But when they do that, the city will even depreciate them more. Why? Because if people are looking for them to clear the goods, they will find ways to clear the goods, isn't it? And when they find ways, they go to the alternative market. Yeah. And that is not good for the country. They won't even do that. I don't have the full information from BOG. I'm not speaking for them, isn't it? But what I can tell you, David, is that there might be some dollars, but not enough to cover all of them. But BOG will need to up, isn't it? And get the dollars for our business. I can't be David for the businessmen. But let me also say this: the reason why you will not find a BOG governor coming to tell you there's no dollars is that that's not what he should be doing. He needs to provide that confidence.
Yeah.
Assurance to the market. It's part of managing the situation.
Yeah.
You don't just go and say, I remember I was telling somebody that when the governor came and said that NPP did well by accumulating the previous the gold, someone said that, but why should you? I said, he cannot be a politician. He would need to speak the positive things, isn't it? And so I won't fault him. He will need to give the assurance. He will need to keep communicating. But behind the scenes, they should get the dollars for our business.
Let's rope in our listeners now and get to see what they also have to say, especially if you're a businessman, KDTI, Edum, wherever you are, even outside.
But we can't take away the fact that many of his colleagues
documentation.
They also have the documentation, but they will hide behind there's no dollars.
Yeah.
Yes.
03220-83596, 03220-83597 and 03220-83598. Listen, let's have this conversation. Open, candid conversation. Yeah. Kofi Bedu, good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Yeah,
So the stability you are seeing now is not because we are intervening in the market. It's not because we are selling reserves for stability. No. Remember, our reserves program is actually going up, by the day. We are building more and more reserves. All that we are doing is strengthening, the surge in inflows. A number of foreign exchange market reforms are being implemented. It is the combination of all these factors that you are seeing. And so long as we hold that anchor, we'll continue to see stability. And I made the point earlier that when we say stability, it doesn't mean the cedi has to be fixed. It doesn't mean that the cedi has to over-appreciate, because that in itself is not good for our exports. So in real terms, we are observing the trends. We want to make sure that the cedi is not misaligned in real terms. It stays within some kind of band, a sort of range that is appropriate, a sort of range that is consistent with macroeconomic stability. So that is what we'll be looking at. But all I can tell you at this point is the days of excessive volatility of the cedi is certainly coming to an end.
Dr.
For us, Desmond, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David.
So what do you want to share with us this morning?
Dave, I'm actually a worker I'm a banker, as I should put it that way. And I just wanted to provide some little contribution to the discussion you are having. I think that all the things that Prof has said, they are very good. But he also bear with me that one of the things that our traders have not exploited in our part of the world is doing other forms of payment aside the advance payment that they do. And if I say other forms of payment, now we have LCs, we have documentary collections, we have cash against documents, where most traders, our traders can actually use that medium for doing business with people outside without necessarily sending money outside before the goods are shipped. Because, as Doc said, one of the biggest problems that we have as bankers is that once you do advance payment for the customers, about 99% of them, once the document comes, they are either under invoicing or you don't get the correct set of documents that you, the bank, you need for auditing with Bank of Ghana. That is why in most banks, we have a certain cutoff. If you want to do advance payment, you can only do a customer up to sometimes about $100,000 or about $200,000, unless you bring documents before we can do, another transfer for you. So I think for the traders, one of the things that